I was born on the 23rd of June 1936, so I was told by my father, who was quite literate. I was born in Igobini, a village in Ondo State. God has been so kind to me, really kind. And, every time I say, if you see God, please help me to thank Him. He has been extra kind to me. But the thing is, I have no problem with anybody. I don't go looking for trouble. And I believe whatever will be, will be. I sing, I play the piano, not as much as I used to. And I keep myself busy. I like to be focused. And I don't want people to upset me. So I thank God. I can't believe that I'm going tonight.
At every birthday, with a lot of prayers and supplications, we keep asking God to give her good health, because that's what we are after, is what means good health. And Mama is in fantastic good health, fantastic shape, and I thank God. I really thank God that my mom is able to do everything she could do. 40 years ago, 50 years ago, she can still do it. So it's been a blessing, and we thank God.
Grandma's 90th birthday. What does this mean to us? Him.
Well, I think the number 90 is it's a big number. It's an iconic age. I think we definitely should be celebrating it. It's a massive feat to reach such an age and still be sort of hale and hearty. And yeah, I think it's great that we're doing this.
For me, it's a blessing to still have my grandma here at 90. We've grown up with grandma. I'm also grateful to have spent so many years of my life with grandma. So it feels really nice to be able to celebrate grandma at this milestone.
Yeah, I think it's all about legacy and looking back at grandma's life as well too, and celebrating all the things that make her her. And I feel like 90 is such a fantastic way to celebrate 90 years of my grandma being a superwoman.
And for me, I'd say I echo that, although I think maybe it feels normal, it feels natural. I remember celebrating grandma's big milestones, and I'm very much expecting to celebrate the next one as well. So more to come.
Chief with Mrs. MOBOLAJI Osomo. My mother, to me, an embodiment of action, activity, positive mindedness, a can-do attitude, get on with it attitude, and never say die attitude. So I grew up knowing her as my mother. I grew up knowing her as my teacher. I grew up knowing her as a businesswoman. I grew up knowing her as an astute lawyer. I grew up knowing her as a politician. I grew up knowing her as somebody who worked with Chief Michael Ajasi as the Commissioner for Trade and Industries in 1979 in Ondo State, between 1979 and 1983, yes. She worked with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo as the Minister for Housing and Urban Development. So all this rolled into one woman who was formidable and still very, very formidable. Now, if you have that sort of person as a role model ahead of you, you're bound to learn a lot, not just one or two things, learn a lot. And that would hold you in good stead And I believe that has happened to me, and indeed my siblings, and quite a number of people who have had the opportunity of being around her. Yes, so in a nutshell, a huge achiever, a mover of men, a mover of events, a mover of the society, a role model for a lot of people.
It is with great pleasure and also an honor that I'm here today to wish you a very happy 90th birthday. We give gratitude to the Almighty God for sparing you for so long. Obviously, we can't take all these things for granted, but we give God all the glory. We give him the glory, not just for your long life, but for your good health, for your strength, for your wisdom, for also your sound mind. My bringing in on those states from the age of 0 to 12 gave me the village life experience. Igbobini, more or less, is an island. It has water. With that, I learned how to swim. So I can swim. I'm a swimmer. I can row the boat. I know water. So that gave me the experience of being a local girl. It makes me thoroughly local. So whether I'm in the midst of anywhere I am, I don't find it odd. I can mix with anybody, anywhere. My father was from the royal family of Baduwe in Ibotu, but his mother was from Igbobini. My mother's side, that's my maternal grandmother, was from Lagos. They went to Okitipupa area to trade. And my mother was the first of their own children who married one of the locals. At that time, in the 40s, there was no road from here to Ikorodu. There was only just one road from Mushin to Abeokuta to Ibadan. There was no road via Ikorodu. I went to the primary school in Igbobini. After my father had taken over my responsibility of being brought up, I never knew my mother. My mother died when I was very young. And so the problem of raising me as at that time was between my paternal grandmother and my father. My father was trading on timber logs, Gedu as they called it. And they used to bring timber to Lagos for export to Europe. In the 40s, no child is sent to school unless your hand reaches your ear via your head. So I never went to school until I was 8 years old. But my father was literate, so he kept teaching me all the alphabets and teaching me English. At times he would take me along with him to Lagos. And I remembered staying with him on the logs around Otop Beach, the same Otop in Lagos. And my father would keep pointing at the Kata Bridge and telling me, can you see that red car? That's Stella Rhodes, the first Yoruba female lawyer. And I kept thinking to myself, one day I'll be a lawyer as well, and my father will be proud of me. So that was the beginning of my ambition. By 1949, my father sent me to the missionary girls' school, Shagamu, where girls were sent to for education. I remembered one of the seniors I had in the school then was the mother of our vice president, Oshibajo. She was my senior in Shagamu Girls' School. And there were so many women too who had illustrious children who went to Shagamu Girls' School. This Shagamu Girls' School was manned by missionaries. It was a Methodist school, but the missionaries were white people, and it was a boarding school. So most of the time when our parents brought us in, we were left in the school for at least 3 months without going anywhere. And some of us who came from far distant places, like Igobini, there was no way of going back home early. And we will have to be in school and stay there for about 6 months. Thereafter, you find your way to wherever you are going. I attended Shagamu Girls' School from 1949 to 1952 December. In that school, they trained us either you want to go to Queen's College or you want to go to United Missionary College, which was a teacher training college for grade 2 teachers. And personally, I felt I didn't want to go to Queen's College or Methodist Girls' High School, Lagos, because most of the people who came to Methodist Girls' High School at that time, or Queen's College in Lagos, from my village in Igobini, ended up being pregnant. And I felt it was because they came to Lagos, that was why they were pregnant. My ambition was to go to Ibadan, the United Missionary College. So that was how I found myself in the United Missionary College in 1953. I was there for 3 years, trained as a teacher. I obtained a grade 2 teacher's certificate, and I was very happy. So that time I was about 19 also, just going 20. So I taught in the Western region for almost 5 years, but because I had an ambition, I wanted to become a lawyer. I was told unless I passed the GCE, I would not be able to go to England. So I had to go and read privately for the GCE. I passed the GCE after a lot of all the effort. And eventually, I was given a Western Nigerian scholarship to go to England to study diploma in education by the Western region. 2 weeks before the independence of Nigeria, that was in 1960, I went to England as a government scholar. I went by air. And by the time I got to England, I felt I must have missed my way because everything was too much for me. London was so big. And I looked back at the aeroplane that brought me to London. I thought to myself, surely I've missed my way. But the Western region government had people who came to receive the government scholars And so the following day, I was on my way to my college in England. My college was far away in Yorkshire, northern part of England. It was a very beautiful resort town called Scarborough. I was the only black person in town. And so it meant I had to adjust to the British way of life, learn how to speak their language, because when I first got there, they couldn't hear what I was saying. I couldn't hear them either. So it was terrible for me for the first 6 months. And so I decided, should I go back? I made a mistake to have the ambition that I wanted to go and read. I was on my own. I had a special room to myself. All the other students were white. I was the only black person in the whole town. And so I became a spectacle to the black people. Anytime I went to town, they would see me and say, oh, where are you from? I'm from Nigeria. Oh, I have a brother in South Africa. Do you know him? I said, no, South Africa is so far away from Nigeria. And so that was the sort of experience I had. But I thought, should I just stay there and miss why I went, or I should stomach it? So I decided I'm not going to run away. I had an ambition. I wanted to come to England. Now I'm in England. It's not what I was expecting that I found. What I'm trying to say now is what most of our Nigerian students who went to England will first discover when they get to England. They want to jackpot. When they got there, they will now find that they've missed their road. This is not the sort of place they are looking for. And some will complain that, oh, here, I wish I go back home. I don't like their food. And my advice most of the time, I said, you are here, you can't run back unless you are a failure. You have to stomach it. Or they eat green leaves. I can't eat green leaves. I said, you have to eat it. When you are in Rome, you do as the Romans. Anything they give to you, makoja, eat it. Don't look at the food. Anything they put in front of you, just eat it. That was the way it was to me. But I had determination. I decided I was going to make the best of my stay. My ambition was to become a lawyer, and I studied. I got my A-levels, and eventually I got enrolled into the Inns of Court in England. It took me 4 years. I became a barrister at law. I was called to the British Bar. The difference between the British Bar and the other bars of the world is that you can practice your law anywhere. If I go to India today, I can put on my wig and with all my particulars and appear in their court. So the British Bar certificate makes you an international lawyer. So I came back to Nigeria after 7 years abroad. As at that time, I've got a lot of experience. Over there, I got married.
Well, let me start from how she kept me grounded. In our generation, we were the generation that was flogged black and blue, up and down the streets, anytime you put a foot wrong. So that kept all of us grounded. In those days, it was the biblical injunction of spare the rod, spoil the child. That was very, very much in our face, or in our faces. So my mother didn't spare the rod at all. And again, she was a teacher, a strict disciplinarian. I remember one particular incident that happened to me. I think I was about 9 years old. Yeah, I was about 9 years old. And I went to school. I was in school in Fadi. Distance between Fadi and Ilupeju is about 20 minutes by bus. And school ended at 1:30 p.m. And guess what? Wale didn't come home until about 6:30. Why? Because Wale was playing football, and I played football. First set, second set, third set. I was the last boy standing at 6:30. Now occurred to me, okay, let's start going home. And I was now on my way back. And I saw my mother on the other side of the road. She was driving, she was looking for me. And I pretended I didn't see her. I took the bus from Fade to Obanikoro and I ran home. And of course, as I got home, my mother just came in after me. It was in this same sitting room that you are interviewing me now. Honestly, the beating I got that day, I believed she was not my mother. Maybe they saw me on the street and they brought me in and said, oh yeah, let's take care of this child. But since that day, it just occurred to me that for you to get ahead in life, you must do what mommy wants. You must be the good boy. And so that kept me well grounded. The strict discipline. It was very strict too. People say that their mothers were strict. You should have met my mother. You should have met her. I'm sure your mothers, but they couldn't have lit a candle to her. She's as strict as they come. So that got me very, very well grounded. Now, my mother is a workaholic. She works you to the bone. Even as I'm sitting down here now, after this interview, I'm going back to work. Because the phrase that I grew up with from her was, get on with it. Get on with it. Anything that you are doing, get on with it. No excuses. No excuses for failure. Just get on with it. And yes, that kept me well grounded. And even as at the time I went to school in England as a 16-year-old, I was in England for 8 years. I never put a foot wrong. In those days, there was nothing like GSM. I'm talking in the 80s. Yeah, 70s into the 80s. There was nothing like mobile phones. But all mom had to do was just put a phone call through to the school. And they say, oh yeah, Wale, start coming home. It was just one phone call. And that was it. When you try to do something wrong in school in those days, all you had to do was just remember that word that will seep into your ears. Don't even think about it. And that kept me well grounded.
So Grandma has so many stories, and it's always a pleasure to visit her and just relive basically the memories from when she was younger. Maybe not necessarily of her childhood, but I remember a few stories that she told us of when she had just moved to the UK after teaching training, and also times from when she was working as a minister and doing lots of diplomatic assignments. Some of the ones that really stuck to me, was her first ever law case when she had passed the bar. And she explained that basically she had just passed the bar and she was still in the court and she was in the corridor. And basically this woman opens the door from another courtroom and runs up to her and says, please, I need your help. I need someone to represent me. And Grandma, being, the go-getter that she always is, she was like, well, yes, I've just passed the bar, so I'm sure I'm up to the task, basically. And so she walks into the courtroom with this woman who she's just met, this client that she's just met. And she looks at the court and the judge and she says, Mr. Judge, you're going to be
very annoyed at me for this. But I don't know if I'm representing the plaintiff or the defendant, which made the whole courtroom burst into laughter, because obviously that which lawyer goes in without preparation. But it just shows how committed grandma was to the cause and to helping people. He says basically that the judge looked at her and said, yes, I'm sure you'll go very far. And obviously she has. She's also told so many other stories about how, and I think the running theme in grandma's stories is how she's not afraid to do any job, not afraid to undertake any assignment. When I got my first car, we were talking about stories about when she was on a diplomatic assignment in Germany, and so she'd gone there and representing Nigeria in a full regalia with a gele, ashoke, and she'd met these two German men, white German men, and they were discussing, and they were meant to sort of drive across Germany, between Germany and Vienna, across the Danube. And she said she got into the car with these two men, and the man she was in the car with, his hands were shaking, so he probably had some disease, and she was sat in the car thinking, hey God, what have I got myself into? And he couldn't stay in the lanes, and so she told him, look, I think I need to start driving this car. And so she told him to get down. And she got in the driver's seat, and grandma, in her full ashoke and gele, was driving. And if you think about this was probably in a time in Germany where you didn't really see many black women, and she was in a very nice, I think she said it was a BMW, driving across the river Danube. And she said everyone who sort of saw her or saw the picture of this black woman in full regalia driving these two white men, they would all stop in their tracks and look, because you would never expect to see such a sight. But I think it's incredible that, she just has that confidence to undertake any task, really, and doesn't mind being the first person to do something. And I think she represents a real role model that we should all really strive to be like. She did mention that the one job that the one job in this life that she wasn't able to do was, she said she was working in Harrods, and just while she was in England, she would do odd jobs. And she walked into this launderer's, and it was basically ironing sheets. And so they introduced her to the job and told her she had to iron the sheets with a massive steam iron. And after doing it for a couple of hours, she thought to herself, so she literally spoke to the man and said, well, I'm not doing this job. And she handed in her notice then. So apart from that, I think grandma has made it clear that you can do anything, but you also need to know your limits and make the decision about what you're willing to do for just in life.
Well, as far as I was concerned, I chose law because I knew my father spent all the amount of money on me so that I could become independent. And my father didn't believe that I would have to be a liability to any man. And he was always telling me that, you don't have to follow any man because of money. I have money, I'll give you money. And he was always giving me money, so no money would tempt me with anybody. And I wanted to be a lawyer because of Stella Rhodes, who was my role model. Unfortunately for me, by the time I was being called to the Nigerian bar in 1968, Stella Rhodes was still alive, and she was in front of the first bench in the Supreme Court. So when I was called to the bar, I walked forward. She stood up to shake me. I said, "Ma'am, I've always wanted to be like you, and today is the day." And she was very happy. She hugged me, said, "I'm sure you will do well." So that was it. That was the challenge.
My mom is an educationist, even up till now, and I am also an educationist. I never believed that I would end up being a classroom teacher, school director, a proprietress, When we were growing up, it was all about books. It was all about books. I think I read the book of Plato when I was about 13. And then I read all the books of Shakespeare before I was 16. There's always been books, read. And that really expanded my horizon. I tell people that basically there's nothing I can't discuss. Whatever it is, I always say bring it on. And I learned that from my mom.
Hi Grandma, happy birthday. I'm so happy that we all get to celebrate this wonderful new age with you. I'm very privileged that I get to call you my grandma. I'm so happy that God has blessed me with a wonderful grandma like you. I've built a lot of wonderful memories over time because of the amount of things that you've taught me, amount of lessons you've given to me, the number of values that you've instilled in my life that I even live by today. I'm so happy to call you my grandma because of how involved you are with my academics. You were really present in terms of my schoolwork and my courses that I did during secondary school. Even before that, even when I was in primary school, started with the music. Then it moved to when I entered secondary school, and I was doing a lot more subjects like sciences and arts and things like that. I love how involved you are with not just us but other children. Grandma's assignments, everybody knows what I'm referencing now. The amount of assignments you gave us just to make sure that we're putting in enough effort into our academics, just so that we could end up being who we are today. I'm very grateful for Grandma because she's taught me to not be dependent on other people, not to rely on other people, but to be hardworking and determined to achieve my goals myself, to be able to work towards the goals that I've set in place for myself. A lot of fun memories were built over COVID as well. The amount of time that we spent in your house, not going to school, but rather, playing for the most of it, and then the amount of grandma's assignments I did during that period. During that period, I started to I was in about year 7, so I started to, do checkpoint and the junior WAEC syllabus. So grandma would give me both math and sciences. In fact, math, English, and sciences to work on. There were workbooks that she would give me, worksheets she would print out for me, and make sure that every day I got at least a bit of work done, just so that I didn't become dull before I had to go back to school.
It was actually when I started studying law in England. We have to study Roman law, and you study Latin and study all sorts. And I was particularly interested in the Roman law vis-a-vis land matters. It interested me because my father too had many houses in Sapele. Coming from the Onikoyi family, I think I will have an instinct on land matter. So I became very interested in land matters, and believe you me, in our class in England, whether you are white or you are black, I was always leading the class on land matters. And when I came back to Nigeria, I saw that, hey, this is problem here in Nigeria. I'm sure I can do something with it. So that was how I started looking at Nigeria as the green field for me as a land lawyer, as an expert on land matters. Land law used to be one of the worst subjects for so many students in England. It wasn't easy to understand, but if you are gifted, you understand what you are doing. To me, there was nothing to it. It's like you are doing mathematics. Those who are mathematicians find mathematics very easy. Chemistry, they find it very easy. But I felt that there's a lot to be done on land matters. So I had attachment to Lawyer Noibi, Lawyer Ladner, and invariably any one of them having problems, either they are looking for junior lawyers, they always send for me. And my husband at that time, who came home before me, brought my 2 children. And we were tenants in one of the abandoned houses in Surulere. And I thought, no, I'm not going to stay in this house for too long. We have to go and look for a house of our own. So I went all out, went to Lawyer Jibola, the former Attorney General of Nigeria. I said, Senior, we are looking for land. Can you show us where we will get land? And we came to Ilukoji, and that's how my sojourn. I saw that there was a lot to be done on the planning for housing. Up to now, I am still of the view that we have not planned Nigeria the way it should be. People are more or less ahead of the government in terms of their demand for housing. And so they start building anyhow, anywhere, blocking drainages, and because the government is not as proactive as the general public. Lagos State is making a lot of efforts. Lagos State is very good. They are making all the efforts. But then everybody is rushing to Lagos State. Lagos State is filling the Atlantic Ocean. How far are we going to go on the Atlantic Ocean something? So we still have to look at the whole of Nigeria and really do something very drastic. If not, the millennials, those born after 2000, they will find it absolutely impossible to own a house.
"1979. 1979, I was 14 years old, and she came home and said she was going into politics. That was when we were trying to transit from military government to the civilian government then. And she was going up and down the country, going around with the politicians and all whatnot. And when the new government came in, the government of Shehu Shagari, she went and she became a commissioner in Ondo State, and she became a household name. Her name was on the lips of everybody in the country. Everybody talking about Mrs. MOBOLAJI Osomo, Mrs. MOBOLAJI Osomo. So she made a huge impact. I recall in those days she was the commissioner for trade and industries and cooperatives in Ondo State. But what she achieved within 4 years at that time reverberated around the whole country, and she became a sort of poster girl, especially for women in Nigeria at that time, because they kept on saying, you mean a woman can achieve this, a woman can do this, a woman can do that. So in those days she was a celebrity of sorts right across the country. So that's how come I knew that okay, if you put your mind to trying to achieve certain things, you would make an impact. Just get on with it, like my mother says. Have a concept, have an idea, and then just chase after it, and things happen.
1979. So we moved to Ondo State, Akure, and my mom was a commissioner for 4 years, and that was when I realized who my mom is, or what power and what command she had, especially in the political arena of this country. So it was from 1979 that I knew that, okay, we're in with this, and we're in for this. So from that very young age, I already knew my mom was going to make an impact in her surrounding and in everyday life and the people that come across her.
When we came in, I went in with Baba Jashi in Ondo State. There were the 4 cardinal programs that the UPN had as at that time. Education, which was free, health, which was free, agriculture, and employment. I was in charge of industries, and I was at home with it, in that for you to be able to set up an industry, you need land. Already I was at home with land. I have already set up some estates in Lagos. If you know Abiola Crescent in Ikeja, Toyin Street, where Abiola Crescent is, was, with the grace of God, my own creation. The estate, the whole estate there, was my own planning and everything when it was thick forest. And I have done about 4 like that in Lagos before I went to Ondo. So Baba Ajashi learned about me that I had that sort of experience. So he took me into industries. With industries, I had many Europeans, Germans, Italians, who had already come into Ondo State just before the military left. And because of my long sojourn in Europe, in England, I was used to them. So there were industries that were on the plan. And as far as I was concerned, we had a challenge. So I wasn't there for anybody to come in and say, you know, let's do it like this. Are you here for a serious job? Please present your papers. Let us get on with it. And we did. And really, we got the results. And the people were happy with us because they could see the military had already given out the Oluwa glass industry. They've awarded it to a German company. Some of the commissioners were saying, oh, the thing was awarded by the military, let us cancel the what is it. And then my own belief then is that if we make that mistake and cancel the thing, we will not be able to do anything. Let's get on with what they have done. And that was what we did. And we worked with all the seriousness. Within that 4 years, we built Reborn Bricks. We built Oluwa Glass Factory from foundation to finish. And they were even coming in from West Africa to buy glass from Nigeria. Within the 4 years, all these places came up. We opened banks, insurance companies. Those people who came into politics as at that time, we saw the need. We saw the need of what we wanted to do. Our people were poor, and we came in to battle the poverty. And so it wasn't a question that you are looking for money. Which money? Is yet the result. And we really got the result, and the people were happy. But the result of it was that as soon as we finished, we were all whisked away to jail. So that's one of the ironies of life, including Baba Jashi. I was in jail for 9 months. Baba Jashi was there for almost 2 years. But at the end of the day, I kept asking God, I said, So the mistake I made was to have come to this place to come and help me. But at the end of the day, we all came out and the people were happy. So really, it's a matter of people realizing that they have a gift. My own belief is that God has a purpose for everybody. Your own line of business is what God has given you. My own line of business is the gift that God has given me. I didn't have to be a thief. And then I went to study law to be a thief. Can't believe it. So what you have, you're going to be accountable to God. And my own belief is that if you know what you are doing, then prove it. If you're a lawyer, prove it. If you know your work, prove it. So really the challenge for us is a lot. So I want to ride the helicopter, I want to fly to the moon. If you can do it, it will be good, but not at the expense of everybody.
My mother would sit down and tell stories about her 4 years. This was after she left, though, in 1983. You know, in 1983, Buhari and his lot came and threw everybody out. You know, and then my mother would sit down and tell stories of everything that went on in government. The stories could last. You could sit down with her upstairs or even down here, and she would tell the story for about 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. She kept on saying, "Oh, we did this, we did that." Politics at that time was very, very interesting. People, she used to tell the story of how she literally brought her people in that part of Ondo State out of the bush to the city to see the light. You know, although I shouldn't say this, but yeah, our people are bushmen. You know, and Otilajunsu, and all of them now buga and say that Kotibon, you know, but she would always tell the story of how she brought them to the city. Sorry, Mom, but I have to say this. There were stories of achievements. I'm sure she would also say it in her own interview. You know, when she was the Commissioner for Trade and Industries, she achieved quite a lot. I remember Governor Mimiko about 9-10 years ago when we went to his office. He was introducing her to so many people, and he said that these are the people who were responsible for the golden era of Ondo State. She'll tell you the story of how she built this company called Oluwa Glass. Oluwa Glass was the largest glass manufacturing company in West Africa. Oluwa Glass exported glass from Ondo State to every part of West Africa then. So she was responsible for it, right from scratch till performance, till completion. She will tell you of things like Ifon Ceramics, many achievements. Within 4 years, she will tell you of how she was responsible for ensuring that Ondo State became an oil-producing state. You know, was recognized as an oil-producing state in Nigeria. So, a lot of good stories. With regard to politics, in 1983, I think those were the days when Ajasin was defeated, in quotes, by somebody called Omobolaji. Omobolaji was the deputy to Ajasin, and during elections, he now decamped from the Unity Party of Nigeria to the National Party of Nigeria. National Party of Nigeria was Shagari's party, and so they now said Omobolaji won Ondo State, and that was when all hell broke loose in Ondo State. You know, Ondo State was on fire, and my mother told the story of how she was in literally the middle of the fire when everything was burning, and all her escapades to make sure that Omoboriwo did not wrongly go away with the victory. So she was part of the team that made sure that Omoboriwo was defeated in court. So excellent stories of our time.
Because I lived with her, so I saw it. I lived with her. We were, like I said, I'm the youngest, so we were practically my late sister and I were practically everywhere with her. So we got to see what politics was about. We got to meet governors, head of states, people like that at a very young age. So I knew at that young age, maybe that was why I decided to go and study something in politics. So I have a degree in politics also, international relations and politics. I think it was from there that I decided that, okay, this is politics. And I could see what my mom was doing and what other people were doing. And that was what made me, get that fantasy of, doing politics.
Yeah, this is very interesting, and I was very, very proud of her. This happened in London. There's this bookshop on a street called Tottenham Court Road. It's one of those prominent roads in central London. So I went into that bookshop with a friend of mine. The bookshop was called Foyles, and Foyles had maybe over 2 million books in that bookstore. And in those days, if you wanted any information on anything, you went into this book called Encyclopedia. And this particular book was called the Encyclopedia of Who is Who in the World. And so I stood in that place with my friend, and we were looking at the various names of people in the world. Socrates, Aristotle, Jackie Onassis, past presidents of America, past prime ministers of the UK, even Queen Elizabeth, Then we came to Africa. In those days, Mandela was not even there. Mandela was still in prison. But you saw prominent names of people in Africa. And then I just thought, okay, let's go into Nigeria. Let's see who the prominent names are in Nigeria. I'm talking 1988. Yes, 1988. And lo and behold, went into Nigeria, and one of the top names of prominent people in Nigeria was Chief Mrs. MOBOLAJI Osomo. And he gave details of who she was, her achievements, and I was like, wow. So I took the book. I went to everybody in the bookshop. I said, look, this is my mom. This is my mom. This is my mom. So it was then in faraway London that I knew that this was a formidable woman who, incidentally, is my mom.
1979. Yeah, I was 9 in 1979. And like I said, coming home every day, seeing a lot of dignitaries in the house, people you read about. And then you're like, oh, is this person I just read about? Or, especially, I think meeting Chief Obafemi Awolowo, that was for me the height of it then. And then, 1993, so 1994, early 95, I went with her to Abuja, and she had a meeting with then the head of state, Abacha, and she said, "Oh, come with me." And I was like, and we walked in, sat down in Aso Rock, and when the meeting was going to start, after introducing who I was, so I had to leave because it was the head of state and one of his ministers, and that for me was like the epitome of wow, does it get better than this? And then, like I said, because we've grown up with almost everybody, meeting with a lot of governors, even our president, Asiwaju, and getting to know all those people, meeting them, and you're like, oops, you're like, wow. And then after a while, you're like, okay, my mom's, when people come and meet my mom in front of us, they're like, this is this person. Even now, when we go out and people know, people who realize who she is, they're like, this is Mama Osomo. Wow. And you're like, yes. So it's part of what made us, it was how we grew up here.
My grandma has achieved a lot. And I remember, I guess, the first time that I realized that grandma wasn't just grandma. The time when I realized that, grandma might be famous and other people know her apart from people in the house or people in the school. I went on a school trip to the National Museum, and I remember there was, towards the end of the excursion, there was this poster of significant or influential politicians that Nigeria has had over its history. And it was a picture of so many men. And then in the corner, I saw a picture of my grandma, and I remember saying, "Oh, that's my grandma. Like, what is she doing here?" And I remember getting back home, running through the door, and telling my grandma, "Grandma, I saw you in this picture," and I didn't know that you. In my head, I didn't know grandma was that influential, and I think I would have been maybe 10 or 11. So, I would say that was probably the first time I realized that grandma is famous in Nigeria.
What you see with Mama is the real thing. There's no shielding, there's no pretense. Any issues of controversy that she's had throughout her life, she has been able to defend. And when I say defend it, she has defended it publicly as well as privately. So nothing at all. She hasn't shielded us from anything. Day in, day out, as things have happened in her life, she's always explained it to her children, told them exactly what's going on so that there were no issues of surprises, particularly when she was in politics. What you see with Mama is plain, honest, nothing hidden at all. So the issue of shielding her children from controversy has never happened. And one thing that has taught us is the importance of honesty and also resilience. So Mama says, nothing is going to be smooth and easy in life. So in fact, the more difficult things are, it's most likely the more you will enjoy the reward at the end of the day. Mama, as you can see, is an extremely serious person. And I'm sure that's not coming as a surprise. In those days, they were built to be strong.
Yes. My mother is a lawyer, and she knew that she had to do the right thing at the right time because she was in the public eye, And I recall when Buhari and Indiagbo took over in 1983, they took all the politicians at that time and threw them into custody, pending their trial. So she was in custody for 9 solid months, going to court with Baba Jasin and all whatnot. So that was one very, very trying time for the family. But at the end, after 9 months, she was the first set of people discharged and acquitted by the military tribunal at the time. Because when Buhari came, he said, all of you politicians are thieves, this, that, the other, the sort of bad name they put on people in order to hang them, And so when that happened, all through the time of the trial was going on, she kept on sending messages to us that, don't worry, everything is under control. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be worried about. We haven't done anything wrong. We have done everything according to the book, And so after she was discharged and acquitted and told to go home, it just occurred to me, and I said, this is a formidable person. She went into public office and she did the right thing. She said the right things. She achieved so much. And nobody would come back to say, this woman did wrong. This woman embezzled your money. This woman went in different directions from where normal people would go. So that for me was quite remarkable, and the family was very, very proud, very, very proud that she distinguished herself. And so what it is now is that even for those of us, the children who've also held offices in different areas and different endeavors, since then, that has been sown, that seed has been sown into us. You know, so you go in there, you render service to the best of your ability, and that invariably shields you from any backlash or any negative insults or jabs that may be thrown at you.
This land reform had come up with the land law of 1978. It was good because the Land Use Act, you know, the title of the Land Use Act, it looked at it. But regardless of the title which was passed on to the governors, hardly would you be able to get any land anywhere without reckoning with the community that owns the land, the family that owns the land. So the governor will give you a certificate of occupancy. So there is still the need for further rectification of the Land Use Act. Each family knows this land. So at the end of the day, you buy the land, you have a CFO. At the end, you know, some people turn up and say, this is our family land. So whatever it is, the government will still have to have another look at the Land Use Act. We are doing so.
Well, let me recollect the pioneer industry of glass making in Ondo State was there when she was the Commissioner for Trade. When she was the Minister for Management Services under Abacha, I recall that she went to England and she spent about 3 weeks or 4 weeks putting together the harmonization of pensions. That was when pensions of pensioners in Nigeria was improved from what it was then to what is still operational in Nigeria now, whereby pensioners earn 80% of what the incumbent right now is earning. What used to happen is that if you retired as a civil servant earning, let's say 3,000 naira a month, maybe that was your that was your salary. Even after 30, 40 years, you'll still be earning that 3,000 naira a month, despite the fact that the value of the naira had reduced. But so when she was in office, what she did was she said, no, let's change it. So if you retired as a permanent secretary, for example, you will be earning 80% of what the present permanent secretary is earning. So what the permanent secretary is earning now, if it is like 300,000, but you retired at 3,000 naira, what you will be earning is not that 3,000 naira, but 80% of what the current permanent secretary is earning. So that was a huge policy reform that I actually applauded her in-house because at the time as well, whatever it is that she was doing, she would always run it by me and say, what do you think? What do you think? And that was how I also got to understand how government works.
So I think Grandma is iconic just by nature of who she is. I think her story inspires and makes you feel like you can accomplish anything if you set your mind to it and if you work really hard. And again, sort of do little things incrementally to contribute to the bigger picture. Grandma really preaches about financial independence for women, and she lives that in her day-to-day life. In Nigeria, that's not necessarily the picture that is, or the cultural norms, but Grandma always made it clear that it's important to be able to make your own money as a woman, so you're able to make your own decisions, and that gives you freedom. And when you make your own money, you can spend it the way you like. Grandma values good quality, so she said if you make good money, then you can spend it on nice things as well. So I think that's been a very big influence on my outlook on life, and just, you know, also it contributes to that go-getting attitude of Grandma, that she always makes sure that she's striving to make the world better for herself and also for people around her. I think also Grandma preaches a legacy of planning ahead and leaving the world better than the way you met it. And I think that's really incredible, and I think we should all strive to be like that.
My mother was huge in real estate development, and a lot of people used to come in here and literally queue out the door in order to be able to buy into her estates. She's got about 4 different estates that she created here in Nigeria, in Lagos. And people bought land to build their homes, to build their houses, and invariably have their homes where they raise their families. So in terms of mentorship, I would easily say that people who had come in to her to meet her when they had nothing, when they had no idea of when they would stop being tenants, they met her and she made land available to them. Even some people paid by installments and invariably paid her even after they had finished building their houses. So those people saw her as somebody who they would look up to anytime and say that this is a mentor good to actually guide us through life. So I remember Sunny Ade. I'm sure everybody knows Sunny Ade. But when Sunny Ade sings anywhere and he sees mom, he would always, first thing, he would always prostrate, greet her, and then he would always sing and all the accolades on her, shower her with praises, and tell everybody that his house in Ilaje Bariga, where he lives today, that land was sold to him by my mom. Well, I don't know if it would be appropriate to mention names, but I can see them. I can see them coming in one after the other, saying a big thank you to my mom. So there are quite a number of people. But I've mentioned Sunny Ade as somebody who everybody knows.
One of my fondest memories of Grandma is how she would always wake me up at 5 a.m. every day to study. At the time, it wasn't easy waking up early, but looking back now, it's made me truly appreciate it because it taught me discipline, hard work, and the importance of education. And I think that is one of the many ways that Grandma has shown her love and care for everyone in her family. So Grandma, thank you for always pushing us to be better, for teaching us valuable lessons about discipline, hard work, dedication, kindness, and family.
And I always say to the women that if your family collapse, it's your fault. That's the way I see it. You cannot have two leaders over an issue. At times you get into the aeroplane and the pilot comes up and he says, "Hello everybody, I'm the one in charge." That means he's the one driving you to where you are landing. And everything about you is in his hands. Every home has a boss. The husband is the boss. That's what our culture says. Everywhere too. That's the culture. I have no problem with that. What's my problem going to struggle with my husband to be the boss? Boss of who? No. But my responsibility is to make sure that I don't have a failed marriage. When I was practicing, I used to have many divorce cases. And the divorce cases really used to upset me. After some time, I said, no more divorce cases in these chambers. I don't want to hear of divorce cases. Let them carry their divorce somewhere else. The woman has the responsibility of making sure that the home survives. That's my advice. And I have always preached that. Do you know why? If you say no, you've lost out. Solomon, the mother was not the married, what was it of David? So please let the women go and sit down and think twice and man their home very well. When I was commissioner in Ondo, I left my husband behind in Lagos. And believe you me, every 2 weeks when I come back home, I come back and wash his clothes by hand. So if your child is not doing well, say go and call your mother. I have his food. Call your mother, let your mother come and face me and tell me why you are not doing well. I wouldn't ask, go and call your father. Your father is busy. But this your child is not doing well. Can you let me know why? You have no time for him, Abby. So really, please, let the women take care of their homes.
Everybody disappear. Everybody run. My mother is here. You know, I never used to go out of this house once I came in from school if mom was at home. The only thing she expected of you was go and read your book. Go and read your book. So you come downstairs, you eat, you wash your plates, you go back upstairs and you go and read your book. As long as mom was in the house, it was read. Even when you are asleep, read. I really can't point to one rule I didn't get to break. I think I broke many rules, and I got away with quite a few. And then again, there were many of us in the house at the time. You know, my siblings were here, and we also had cousins. You know, so we broke rules. And rules are meant to be broken anyway. So even in as much as we said mom was very, very strict, you know, for goodness sake, to live a life of fun, to live a life of possibilities, you have to break those rules. So yeah, we broke many rules. And then she also broke our backs too.
That the one rule in the house, cannot afford to break, otherwise you'd be in serious trouble, is to be in bed when mama is awake. I dare you, I dare anyone, even at my age now, when mama comes to spend time with me, I have to make sure I get out of bed before mama gets out of bed. Otherwise, there is trouble. I don't think this is the time to go into details, but anybody who's worked closely or lived with mama will know the implication of being in bed when mama is awake.
My mom's a trained teacher. She was a qualified teacher before she became a lawyer. As a matter of fact, she went to England to study, to polish up on her education as a teacher. When she finished that education as a teacher, when she qualified as a teacher, she now went to study law to qualify as a lawyer. So when she came back to Nigeria, the first thing she did was to take my sister and I, took us to one of the best primary schools in Lagos at that time, Mainland Preparatory Primary School. And ever since then, she took interest in our education, right from everything we were doing. Mom demands 110% attention from each and every one of us, her children, on education. And of course, like I said earlier, she's a businesswoman as well. And we have a school. She founded a school, nursery, primary, and secondary school. And even up till yesterday, Friday, she was still in school, chasing after all the children in school, talking about their education. You haven't done this, you must do this. So a stickler for excellence in education.
My fondest memory of you is when I had this amazing idea to become a journalist. And I ran to you and I was like, Grandma, I know what I want to be. I know what I want to be. I want to be a journalist. I want to be like Aisha Sese. Because anytime we'd go to your house, we'd see her on CNN. And your words to me were, okay, well, go and learn 100 words from the dictionary every single day. And come back to me every evening and say the words and their meanings. And I took a dictionary, I ran upstairs, and I started learning. And I think I got to like the 10th word, and I came back down and I told you, Grandma, I don't think being a journalist is in the cards for me. And I'm very grateful for that piece of homework that you gave me, because now I am an engineer, and I don't think any other job description would have fit me or my personality in the way this one has. And it's thanks to you.
I give God the glory. God has been in charge of everything that happened to me, and I really mean that. I believe that with God there is nothing impossible, and I am a strict believer in God. I believe God, therefore I don't go any other place looking for power, sustenance. I'm in the hands of God. And any other thing, one thing, I am not a very sociable somebody. Although I may not be going to, but within me, I'm very friendly. But people don't know that I'm friendly. Well, I do not have time for friends who will come and gossip about something. I would rather want to face my piano, face my music, face my problem of what do I do with this road? How do I make this project succeed? Once upon a time, we had a poultry that was larger than that of Obasanjo. Seriousness. So as far as I'm concerned, time to play, yes. Time for serious work, yes. and you want to see results, make sure that you can time it and see the result you are looking for.
And I think it's hard to put it in words how much you mean to me, because so much of who I am started with you. As I've got older, I've realized that many things a lot of people praise me for, such as my personality, my talents, my confidence, and even the way I carry myself, came from, the things that you instilled in me. One of my fondest memories will always be us doing music together. Those moments were very special to me, and now I understand they were more than just fun memories. They were a piece of you being passed down to me. I see so much of myself in you, Grandma, especially that no nonsense personality that we both share. We're kind people, loving people, but we also know how to stand our ground. And honestly, no one says it better than you. We had conversations before where you said to me that, Ashe, we are very nice people. We don't go and look for trouble. We don't go and look for anyone's trouble. But if anyone brings problems to us, we say, no problem. And I think that quote will stay with me forever, because it perfectly captures, who you are as a person. Strong, calm, fearless, and real.
One of the fondest memories I have with you is probably during lockdown, when Chelsea and I were in Ilupeju for almost a year. And you always used to give me all the snacks I ever wanted, like from the shops near your house. And you would always call this particular snack Sprinkles. Well, it's Pringles. But you would always say, oh, do you want Sprinkles? Oh, do you want Sprinkles? And since I knew what you wanted to say, I always just say, yes, grandma, yes, grandma.
His favorite phrase is to get on with it. Regardless of whatever we have in front of us, like grandma raised us. Grandma was basically our teacher and our grandmother, and also my mother as well too. And when the going gets tough, grandma would always be there to tell us that no matter what life is throwing at you, you have to get on with it and carry on. She was a perfect example of life throwing different things at you. While she was minister, she was minister twice, she had to deal with so many things in terms of running the government or working in the government, and also the political landscape of Nigeria as well too, and also having to go through or having to travel all the way to the UK while being the only Black woman at the time, where Black people were not as they were not as common as they are now in the UK. Being the only Black girl in her hostel as well too, the stories that she told us about that. Having moved here myself, and also understanding the covert and the overt racism that is quite rampant in the UK, and knowing that grandma had to deal with that way back then, and she still became this massive powerhouse that we all are celebrating today. Grandma's favorite phrase, get on with it, has just been a thing that I've kept in my brain every time life gets difficult, every time I feel like I'm struggling with, surviving in not just my life as a woman, but also my life as a Black woman in the UK. I just think back to what grandma would have done in that situation, and all I hear in my head all the time is just get on with it. You have the tools that are available to you. You have the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding to be able to just carry on with whatever life is throwing at you, because she did it, and I know that I can do it because I am a product of her as well too.
As a mother, when I was practicing law before I went to Ondo State, I will coach my children in my chambers. They will be in the next room. I will be in my room, and they are doing their homework. I'm doing mine. And time to go home, we walk down to the house. As a teacher, I find it easy to be able to cope with my children. I'm very friendly with my children. But by the same token, I discipline them. So I believe mothers must really have time for their children. I don't see the reason why I would abandon my children and believe that, it doesn't matter. So discipline is what I believe.
Like I said, it was all about books. It was all about reading. So she was always there. She'll come back from work and we'll all sit together in her office and do our homework. She'll mark it. She'll give us work to do. So she was juggling from being a mother, a politician, and a lawyer. And she always made sure there was time for all her children. So we got the same sort of like educational upliftment that she gave other people. Then she brought it back home because she was also a teacher and being a lawyer, so she could juggle all that together.
The legacies that I would like to leave, I sincerely hope that one is the hope that Nigeria will find its feet in the Committee of Nations. All the black people are looking up to Nigeria, that you people do something. Let us sit down and do something for the black race. 2, let us do something for Nigeria. I don't want to say that I have built so many houses. To me, so what? I don't have, the issue of, as long as I have a place where I can sleep, yes. I don't have to own it all. I want to have a peace of mind. I don't want anybody to come and knock at my door and say, you know something, you've stolen their land in, what do they call the island now? Victoria Island and whatever they call it, most of the people there, the Banana Island, they got their C of O from me. Do I have to be in Banana Island? I haven't. How many of them will say they've seen my feet there? But the place belonged to my mother's side family. That's not the issue. The issue is all these Nigerians, where would they put their head? Let us have peace of mind for ourselves. So my legacy is that let everybody have a peace of mind. And it's not the amount of money you have. The money will buy you pahala. It's not the amount of property you have that matters, but just peace of mind. I will want to appreciate as many people as I have met along the way, to thank God specifically. Everybody helped me thank God though, because when I became 80, I kept looking at the cake and the decorations and the what is it, and I kept thinking like, 80, can this be true? Of course it's true. I'm looking at the cake, I'm looking at all the, and I just said, God, how wonderful you are. I still believe that God is a wonderful God. And there is God. That's my belief. So don't let anybody say, maybe God did, maybe God did not do. God did. So, and whatever you want to be done to you, do to others.
May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you, mommy. May the good Lord bless you. 90 goes out for mama. Oh yeah, Bosa, 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 89, Bosa, 90.
Your birthday, you really do
feel and know that you've left that impact on all of us, and we all thank you and are tremendously grateful. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Sorry that I'm not there with you today, but we will see you soon, and we're all thinking about you always, including baby Elise. Your wish for her was that she gets on with writing her first book. So she's picked up a pen and she's writing a colouring book at the moment, but more to come. We'll keep you posted. Many more years. Happy birthday, Grandma.
Is to wish my dearly beloved mom a very happy birthday and many happy returns of the day. We give God all the glory. I would also like to seize this opportunity to thank you on behalf of my siblings and the grandchildren and also the great-granddaughter. Thank you for all the love you have given to us over the years. Thank you for all the care. Thank you for all the protection. We're grateful to you for all the advice. Personally, you have been my best friend. You've always been there for me. There's nothing we haven't discussed with you. You've always come back to us with a lot of wisdom. You've encouraged us in everything that we've done. We are truly grateful. We're extremely blessed to have had a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother like you. We look forward to many years of spending this together. You are an amazing woman. We are so proud of you. We are so proud of the legacy, everything that you represent, everything that you've done. One other thing I'd like to say, if I may, I'd also like to speak on behalf of my dad, who unfortunately is late. Thank you for blessing him with such a wonderful family. Thank you for making him proud of his name, the Osomo name. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. And we look forward to spending many more happy years with you. God bless you, Mom. I love you, and I can't wait to spend the time celebrating with you on your birthday.
Hi, Grandma. Happy birthday. I'm so happy that we all get to celebrate this wonderful new age with you. I'm very privileged that I get to call you my grandma. I'm so happy that God has blessed me with a wonderful grandma like you. I've built a lot of wonderful memories over time because of the amount of things that you've taught me, amount of lessons you've given to me, the number of values that you've instilled in my life that I even live by today. I'm so happy to call you my grandma because of how involved you are with my academics.
Mom, here's wishing you another 20 more years with us. Amen. You can do it, and God will be there with you in good health. Happy birthday, Mom, and we wish you many more years. You've always been a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmom. You've always been the best friend I could ever wish for.
I would like to pay tribute to Mrs. Alice MOBOLAJI Osomo, a very special lady. Although she's my mother-in-law, over the years she has become more like a mother. She's a very caring and supportive person and has done a lot to mentor and support all her children and grandchildren. She is a truly remarkable lady who has achieved a lot in her special fields of land law and politics. I would like to wish her a very special 90th birthday, and I wish her many more years in good health and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Grandma, from Tony, your number 2. Just want to wish you a very, very happy birthday from the bottom of my heart. And I want to thank you for all that you've done for us. Thank you for being such an inspiration to us all, from the start. Anyone who knows me knows how much I love my grandmama, and I'm just so happy that you've given us so many qualities and you've instilled so much in our lives, and we're all very, very grateful.
I love you deeply, Grandma, and I appreciate everything you've done for me in my life. My biggest wish is that as I accomplish all the goals and dreams that I've set for myself, that you are able to be a part of it. You'll always be a part of it, but you'll be able to see as I accomplish them. Happy 90th, Grandma, and you are truly one of a kind.
Happy birthday, Grandma. I can't believe my mama is 90, and I'm just so grateful to God that I get to spend and celebrate this milestone with you. Thank you for being such an icon. Thank you for being an amazing role model. And thank you for raising me to believe that I can become whoever I want to be.
Love you so much, and I appreciate you so much, and I am so grateful that you are my grandmother. I am so lucky that I get to call you my grandmother, and I know that my mom as well too is looking down from heaven, and she is so happy that I got to spend so much time with you, to be able to learn from you, to be able to absorb all your wisdom and absorb all your knowledge and understanding, and absorb your beauty and your grace as well too, and just become a product of you, a beautiful product of you. And I really hope that you have the best day and the best birthday yet. And I love you so much, and I can't wait to see you very soon.
I just want to wish you a very happy birthday. I love you very much, and I want to thank you for all the things you've been doing for me academically. You're making sure I'm always up to date with so many things, and I just love you so much for that. Thank you, Grandma.
I love you deeply, and I pray that God continues to bless you with good health, happiness, strength, and many more beautiful years ahead. Happy birthday, Grandma. I love you and celebrate you today and always.
Grandma, I love you, and I pray that with this new age, may God continue to bless you, guide you, and protect you. I love you, Grandma.
I love my grandma so much, and happy birthday, Grandma.
Just like to wish my grandma a big happy birthday, and I hope it's full of love, and she's happy to celebrate it with all her family and friends. And I pray that God continues to preach her legacy, and her legacy extends to the whole family and for years to come. Happy birthday, Grandma. We love you very much.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy